Welcome to Bulls Without Borders and Nothing But Bull, a special crossover episode. We are here with the Nothing But Bull boys. I'm extremely excited to have these guys. It's going to be awesome talking ball with you guys. And then I'm here with the OG3 as well, with Troy and Neill, as always, my boys. But we'll start with the introductions to, we'll go counterclockwise. I'm with one of the hosts of Nothing But Bull, Derek. How you doing, big dog?
I'm doing great, man. Like I said, a little tired. Got in around 7 a.m. this morning Eastern time from driving back from Chicago. But hey, we're here, ready to talk about some Bulls. So always hype.
Love it. And I'm then the other host of Nothing But Bull, Benny the Bull.
Yeah, man. You know what? I made the dread too, and I'm tired as well. But you know what? I'm so hype about what we're doing right now. I can't even sleep, man. See red till the deathbed, baby. That's enough of this. I'm suffocating.
You're sweating.
I love it.
It's not Benny, it's John.
Oh my God. Yes. We had no idea. We really thought Benny was here with us, but that is who Benny is, though. Now when you see him training those half court shots with behind, backwards and everything, that's John out there. He's killing
it.
How you doing today, John?
Oh, doing great, man. It's a lovely day to be a Bulls fan.
It is, man. I love it. I love it. And to my far left, I've got my man out of Australia, the front man of the Whole Lotta Bull podcast. How are you doing, Troy?
I'm doing good, fellas. The last couple of days have been long but exciting for the future of the Chicago Bulls, and can't wait to chop it up with you guys. Plus our special guests, Derek and John. Obviously, this is a crossover episode, so technically it's both our episode, not just ours bringing them on. But no, can't wait to talk Bulls basketball. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. And then the guy to my left, he kind of sucks. No, I'm just kidding. This is my boy. We host the Six Banner podcast together. My guy, Neill, out of Ireland. How you doing, Neill?
Yeah, it is what it is. You just got to take me as I am, right, Phil? I'm delighted to be here with you boys. You were saying you're tired. I presume that's from driving back from the draft day. You're at the draft thing, right?
Yep.
The invites only. Can't wait to find out more about that. But it's good to be here with you boys tonight.
Oh, you guys were at the official Bulls. Oh shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, we were.
That's cool.
Don't tell anybody though.
Did you guys drive?
It's like a good 14 hours.
Woo!
Is that all?
But if you include last week, we drove close to 60 hours round trip.
Wow.
We went twice in the last week.
Yep.
Damn.
Hey,
okay,
man.
so
Right?
who did most of the driving and who sat back and slept in the seat? Who did most of the driving?
You know what? I would have to say it was about 50-50 between you and I. Right?
That's no fun. I wanted the dirt. Okay, fair enough.
It was well worth it, though. I had a lot of good times to listen to Bulls podcasts and really, really listen to opinions outside of the Bulls dynamic. We're getting a lot of positive feedback about Caleb Wilson, man. I mean, a lot of people are saying we won the draft, and I would have to agree with them. That's not Bulls fans supporting Bulls media, all that. It's worldwide. It's all over. So it's a great feeling to be hearing stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Finally getting some national media love, and it's been
gross.
It's been a minute.
yeah. That's not normally our place. Our place is usually getting dunked on for being cheap and whatever else. So it's a good feeling to be praised. It's nice. But man, so we'll I wanted to start it though. We have guests, and obviously, even though this is both our episodes, I would like whoever's listening to Bulls Without Borders, if you haven't heard Nothing But Bull, you should definitely check it out. I'd like to know how you guys got started. I mean, either one of you can take that. Let me know.
It's all you, DB, Mr. Young Jordan.
Well, I just had previously been working for Shy Sports Nation .net. Don't know if they're still around or not, but I started off as blogging because my wife put it into my head about blogging, and I seen an ad to become a blogger for them. They eventually wanted to start a podcast, so I was like, cool, I'll join it. Wasn't a host when it originally started, and I'm like, cool, because I don't really talk that much, so just in the background. And then, like within 3 episodes, they're like, "Yeah, you're not the host." So I was like, "Oh, okay." No, in doing that, met Stacey King, through Twitter, and we became good friends. And I had him on the podcast, and eventually he's like, "Yo, what's up with your podcast? You gotta get me back on the podcast." At this time, the podcast had ended, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you back on the podcast." I'm like, "Oh shit, I don't even have a damn podcast." So the next day, I just created Nothin But Bull, and had Stacey on the podcast again, and just been running with Nothin But Bull. Took over Bulls on Tap for a season, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go back to Nothin But Bull. And of course, my co-host through Nothin But Bull and Bulls on Tap was Melissa. Her schedule became very busy to where she wasn't going to be able to actively watch the games the way that she wanted to be able to participate in the podcast. So the original thought was I was just going to do it by myself. But then texting John, he's like, "Yeah, you should do the first episode for the draft lottery." I was like, yeah, that's cool. He was like, "You could probably get Matt or Big Dave to come on with you." I was like, "No, actually, you should come on with me." And as we're setting up for this podcast, I'm texting him like, you should really be like the co-host, and we can be like the Bulls Bros. And at first, because of his work schedule, he wasn't sure. But then he was like, "Yo, if we can do it Thursdays, 5 p.m. Central, just a set date, I can do it." So I was like, "Look, no problem with me. Let's get it."
Hell yeah. That's awesome, dude. So, I mean, that's it's funny. So, like, Stacey was your first guest on Nothin But Bull?
Yeah. He was the first guest, I think, in the original podcast with Chicago Hot Sauce, named for like Stacey. His first guest there. He was the first guest when Nothin But Bull started as just audio, and he was also the first guest when we went to video.
That's what's up, man. I mean, talk about kicking off your podcast with a bang.
Oh, absolutely.
That's awesome, man. And rest in peace, Stacey. But I also understand that you guys were able to attend his services.
Yes.
How were the, if you don't mind me asking, man, like how were the services? John?
Oh,
John,
okay. Sorry, I was waiting for Derek. I thought, well, it was a very surreal moment. Seeing the reactions of family, Adam Amin, especially from outside of the blood family. You make that long drive and you're exhausted, right? But then you walk in there and you see what you see, with all the former Bulls players that were there. A lot of Stacey's teammates from the 91 championship team were there. Tony Kukoc was there.
Wow.
And you're just in that moment, even as a fan, you let all that go. It's like, okay, Michael Reinsdorf was literally sitting a foot and a half away from me. But you're in that mode, like the fan comes out. It's like there's no fan in you at that moment. You're just like, you're there. Yeah. You're a part of, you're collabing with everybody, and dedicating Stacey's life. He meant a lot to a lot of people. And it was just a weird thing because as a fan, normally you would go up and try to talk to these people. Some would try to get an autograph maybe, but in that moment, it's just everybody's just an individual, a person, human being that's there to pay respects to Stacey. So it was a very well done service. Big thank you, especially to Brandon King, aka Muffin Baby. Right, because he's the one that reached out and invited us, and it was very short notice, obviously, so we had to make the road trip, and it was well worth it. But I'm sure there's something else to cover other than that, but that's what I gained most from it. And Derek, if you have something else to add.
Yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful service. Stacey obviously touched a lot of people's lives. Just doing what he was doing and waiting after the games, taking pictures with fans, talking to them, giving autographs. He was larger than life. Like John said, shout out to Muffin Baby. Also, Garrett and Eric, Brandon's wife, Gladys, Stacey's brother, Daryl. Like, they all gave great eulogies. Of course, our brother Adam. I know he's really taking it hard.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But, you know, it was a great celebration. The pastor did a good job. All the flower arrangements were really nice. I know the Bulls helped set up some of that stuff. And you know, in true Stacey fashion, once the casket was loaded in the hearse and it started to drive off, whoop, there it is, started playing.
I love that. I love that. I mean, yeah, like you said, in true Stacey fashion, man. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that was in his will.
Yeah,
it would not shock me.
a joker to the last.
I love it. I know Neill was actually one of those people that had the pleasure of meeting Stacey. I mean,
I did, yeah, myself.
That, Neill.
Yeah, myself and my daughter when we were over for a game. Actually, I met Briscoe when we were over there at that time as well. And yeah, we got our few minutes of conversation with Stacey, and you know, he was so generous with his time and so personable, and you know, took the time to have a separate individual conversation with my daughter. You know, she's 14, so she didn't really know who Stacey King was, the player. She only knew him from listening to the games and calling the games with Adam. And she just walked away absolutely in love with this guy, you know, this big character that was able to take a few minutes out of his time to give to her and to give to me. And, you know, stuff like that sticks. And he signed her top, and she's, you know, she's still bugging me. I said this on our pod, but she's still bugging me to put it into a frame and put it up on the wall. And even more so now that he's passed on. So, yeah, you know, it's great to have been able to have that few minutes of time with him. And he's just infectious. He's an infectious person, as you know, Derek and John as well. So it's nice to have that. And he will live on. He's a legend. He was a legend on the floor, and he was a legend sitting on the sideline. And he's left us with such a legacy of calls and nicknames and quotes that will be forevermore part of the Chicago Bulls history going forward as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, there's no one that can replace Stacey. I feel bad for whoever they're gonna have to hire, to be honest with you.
It's a tough job.
Very tough.
Yeah, it's not going to be any joke, but I mean, I hope I hope Stacey's able, obviously I believe he'll be able to watch what's going on with the Bulls. I know he wanted Caleb Wilson, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's going to be awesome. He's going to have a front row seat, man. I mean, now he doesn't have to do a job. He gets to just enjoy the game. So,
true.
But all right, so there's no pleasant way to kind of cross over or to change subjects, but let's talk NBA draft, because the Bulls just changed their franchise, man. I mean, with those two first round picks, I mean, this is really going to define Bryson Graham's, his tenure with the Bulls. What happens, especially with Caleb Wilson. I mean, Dalen Swain obviously is going to be a big part of this as the 15th pick, but Caleb Wilson, his, how his trajectory as a piece of this franchise is going to really define, the beginning of Bryson Graham's tenure, to be honest, and it's going to define how he's viewed for a lot of fans, I think. So, we'll start with our guest of honor. We'll just to do this first question. We'll just go counterclockwise. But Derek, how are you feeling about Caleb Wilson, Chicago Bull?
Oh, I feel absolutely great about it. He embodies like everything that Bryson Graham was asking for with Slap. One of the bigger things is it's clear that he wanted to come to Chicago. Like he wanted to be a Bull. You see, as soon as he was selected, he's tweeting out an old picture of him in a Bulls hoodie. Say wore the silver rose pin for good luck if he was drafted to the Bulls for D Rose. So he obviously knows the history. He's mentioned coming from North Carolina to the Bulls, like Mike and Kobe too, to an extent. They both were Tar Heels turned Bulls, so he knows the history and he knows what we're expecting of this team. And we won championships, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to change the culture, and we're going to win." And I thoroughly believe him. I think he has the highest ceiling out of the top 4 that was drafted, and just looking forward to see the new identity of this team with Caleb at helm.
Absolutely, yeah. He was ready for the moment, man. You could. I don't think there's anybody happier on that green room floor than Caleb Wilson. I loved it. I mean, that's what you want to see. John, how you feeling about Caleb?
Oh, couldn't be more excited. Could not be more excited. He's literally slap personified. But on top of that, he's so marketable. First of all, like Derek said, he didn't want to go anywhere else but Chicago, and he made that very clear. And when he said at his press conference or interview right after he got drafted by the Bulls, it's time to see red. The Bulls marketing team was eating that up.
Oh yes,
he knows the lingo, the Bulls fan lingo, because he was a Bulls fan. And I tell you, like between him and then acquiring Tiago Splitter as our head coach, another Bulls fan, lifelong Bulls fan. Young guy, only 41. Even BG. At his press conference, he's a Bulls fan. So, it's unbelievable. It's like night and day this time as a Bulls fan, Chicago Bulls right now versus what it was 3, 4, 5 months ago. It's just an unbelievable breakthrough. Nobody saw this coming, and I'm just really excited. I'm really excited about Caleb Wilson, what he's going to bring, and I'm almost equally as excited about Dalen Swain. The more I listen to him talk, the more highlights I watch, the more stats I'm looking at. And, Dalen Swain said, I might not be much of a shooter now, like in comparison to the rest of my game, but he said before he hit his growth spurt, that's all he was a shooter. He was a sharpshooter, and then he started to get away from that because he realized his major skill set is driving, slashing to the hoop, finishing at the rim, getting players involved, drawing the defenses and kicking out, and his stats show that, Really reminds me of a young Jimmy Butler. I'm loving it. Caleb Wilson, Dalen Swain. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. Can't wait.
I'll tell you what, man. If he can be anything like Jimmy Butler, he'll be a fan favorite in this city immediately.
Big time. I mean, big time.
Yeah. Troy, I know you're dying to talk about Caleb Wilson, man. Give it to me.
Hey, you guys know I've been all over Caleb. I've wanted Caleb Wilson from them. I know you're giving me that pause look there, Neill.
Pause again.
That's why I retracted. I started backtracking. Ever since I first saw Caleb Wilson play, and I think it was that game against Duke where he, matched up with Cameron Boozer. Like, I've wanted him in Chicago from the get-go with this kid. Like, he's going to be absolutely special. Like, the Bulls could have had the number 3 pick in this draft, and I still would have taken Caleb Wilson over Cameron Boozer. That's how much I like this kid. While he's probably technically the most rawest of the top 4 prospects, to me, he's got probably behind AJ DeBanter the highest ceiling. And I've said it time and time again. Right from that Duke game, I see so much of Kevin Garnett in that kid, in his attitude, some of his skill set. Like, it's mostly the attitude. Like, I know I've referenced this Duke game a number of times, but that look in his eyes before that game, he was going out for blood in that game. You could see that was the look of a killer. And the fact that we've got someone with that kind of attitude in Chicago now, he set himself quite a hefty goal by saying he wants to be the greatest of all time. You know, that's a hell of a goal to reach. But you know what? As much as a lot of players may say they want to be the greatest, hey, you know, I love that attitude, and he's going to come. You know, he's in Chicago now. Like both him and Dalen Swain have arrived in Chicago. Guarantee he's already getting to work. And man, the future is very, very bright in Chicago. We're going to need to wear shades.
I love it, man. Neill, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm thrilled, same as everybody else. To have been in a position where it was a 4-player draft and picking fourth, where you can't make a mistake, was a great position for Bryson Graham to start his tenure with the Bulls in. But that put aside, I think getting Caleb Wilson was an ideal scenario for the Bulls anyway. He was in the interview room after he got drafted. You know where they go and they sit on the couch and they have a conversation. And I believe it was at that point he turned around and they said, "What are the Chicago Bulls getting?" And his answer was, "They getting a dog." You know, straight away, I'm like, you know, you couldn't have said anything else that would have fired me up more than to tell me that you are an out-and-out dog on the floor. That's what we've been lacking. That's what we need. And if we've got that in our new rook, I'm all for that. He seems to know how to say the right things. He seems to have all the raw talent that's there. If he can put all that up and put that all together in a big old bundle and work for Thiago Splitter the way Thiago Splitter will expect him to work, there's big, bright things for this team and for Caleb Wilson going forward as a Chicago Bull.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just love it. I think Kenny Beecham put out, like, he had messaged Caleb, like, I think it was in May. And he did, like, he sent him the video of, like, Scotty, when Scotty was trying to get MJ to come back to the Bulls when he was playing baseball, you know, that you know, that meme
shows
like
him the shoe.
Yeah. And Caleb was like, "I want to, man." I'm like, I love it. All the way back that, you know, I know that was a month ago, and everyone was saying he was going to come here, but just somebody that was that outward in their want to come to the Chicago Bulls and to be a difference maker. And he does set lofty goals for himself, but I love that, man. You can, you know, you want somebody that is chasing greatness. You know, you don't want someone who's like, "Well, I hope I could be all right." You know, what kind of attitude is that, man? You know, we want somebody that's going to get after it, who's going to really, you know, chase greatness and try to personify that. I think him and Buzelis are going to be such a fun duo together, man. They're going to be wrecking fools, man. Get up or get out the way. I mean, people are going to get put on a poster machine a lot this upcoming season. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Yep.
It's going to be fun. So much fun. But what's that? You got something, Troy?
Oh, it's just like as soon as you said poster machine, I'm just like, oh, Stacey. Like, where's his poster machine?
He's gonna be going off though, man. I mean, he's gonna be commentating for everyone in the afterlife, bro. So they're gonna be listening to it.
Just to quickly roll it back to Stacey a little bit. Like, also, I know whoever steps into that role, because there's no, as we all said, there's no replacing Stacey. We're also not expecting him to use Stacey-isms, like, you know, give me the hot sauce and all that. But I hope all that stuff lives on within Bulls Nation. We all can continue to use those Stacey King sayings in our own fandom, in our own way. Like, Derek, I know you, like both Derek and John, I know both you guys absolutely will. I mean, I know there's going to be times where I'm on the couch watching these Bulls games and something's going to happen and I'm going to go like, oh, you know, put him in a spin cycle, your watching's done. Like, anything like that. Like,
well,
I hope Bulls Nation continues on the Stacey King sayings. I really do.
Well, you know that the Chicago Bulls PR team is absolutely stellar, right? They are a fantastic group. And they put together some really good things for this Bulls team and its fans over the years, even when we were shite. And they still managed to keep you interested, right? I have absolute faith that they will put together something that Stacey lives on in every Bulls game going forward. I think they'll put together some sort of a VT at the game or something that can be played so that some of those, as you say, Stacey-isms can live on. I genuinely think there'll be something.
I think I don't see how they can't be. I mean, I really feel like they're just gonna live on forever. They're too memorable, man. They're too memorable.
Absolutely.
Like we're all gonna be using them.
When you got to have the drive home safety Chicago beep beep. That's got to play like UC speakers.
Every win at the UC. That's a must.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I don't know how that works, but like I mean that could also be a way to keep supporting the King family. I'm sure like they could do some sort of deal where they're able to use his likeness and still I would still love to hear that. It could be just a straight cutout of Stacey's voice, man.
Yeah,
drive home safely, beep beep. Especially because I think we're gonna hear that more. I mean, maybe not this year, right? It might be a work in progress, but I think coming up soon, there's gonna be a lot more winning than we've been accustomed to. I'm dying for a 500 season. I'm dying for it, man. It's killing me. But
it's in the future. It is in our future.
I think so. Let's talk a little Dalen Swain though. I was a Dalen Swain guy going through this draft. It was I said it all the way back. I looked at my Twitter. It was May 21st is when I was like looking at him, studying him a little bit. I was like, I like this dude. I think he can play ball. Derek, I'd like to know how do you feel about Dalen Swain, and what do you think his role is going to be first year? Because obviously we have that opening as shooting guard, but some people think because he needs to work on his shot, he maybe shouldn't be starting there. What do you think his role will be, and how do you feel about the pick in general?
I felt absolutely great about the pick. Like Troy said, they had to just throw these shades on because the Bulls' future is so bright.
I love it.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of like through Bulls Nation. It was Cameron Carr. I was cool with Cameron Carr. I'm like, okay, he can shoot. But I've also seen people bring up Swain. So I was like, when the pick came through, and me and John were talking, I was making a graphic for like Cam Carr, and I was like, oh, that's not our pick. And John starts kind of like losing his shit. I'm like, hey, we're good. We are good. Trust me. Oh, again, another guy that embodies slap. Like
he does.
I know, people are saying, well, he can't really shoot, but that's like one of the easiest things you can teach. All you need is a good like shooting coach, and his mechanics are already good. It's not like his shot is ugly or broken. He has good mechanics, but I think the most interesting thing is like he was like the top at getting his own shot in NCAA. And
great isolation player.
Yeah, we need somebody that can just go out there and get you a bucket. It may, it's not pull up jumpers, but he knows how to get to the rim. He's crafty. He can get down low, which is going to have the defense off base. And when you got a point guard like Josh Giddey, that's feeding him easy shots. Like he doesn't need to be a knockdown shooter at the very moment to be the starting shooting guard. One, because the Bulls aren't competing next year. We're setting a foundation in place and getting this identity. And he's a good defender. He's a great rebounder. Like I say, he can get shots, his own shots in isolation, and we need somebody that can break down defenders. And he's a good playmaker as well. So he could break down a defender, kick it out to Josh. Josh could swing it around somewhere else. Modest and Caleb are always going to be slashing on the attack. I'm not worried about the offense, and I believe Bryson Graham said that, where he's like, I'm not really worried about the shooting. We're setting a foundation right now, and we still have $32 million in cap space to where we can get shooting. And I've seen the Bulls have been starting to pick up some undrafted guys that are pretty much known for shooting. So I like the pick. I'm excited to see how this goes. And if you do have him starting at the 2 guard, we have a very tall starting lineup.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Yeah. And athletic, man.
No more small ball.
Yeah, no more Billy Small Ball.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I mean, the switchability between all 5 players is going to be excellent. That's something, and we'll talk about Claxton too, because that's happened since we had our last show. We'll go to him after this, but I think there's a lot to like, and I have no problem with starting him personally, and just letting him get minutes, just let him gain his experience on the floor. I've always been a fan of that. I know Billy didn't believe in that, but Billy, you're not here no more, so we'll see what's gonna happen with Tiago, but I'm excited, man. John, I know you spoke a little on Swain, but did you have anything else on how you feel about him?
I've got a lot more else. The one thing that I will say, he's improving. From freshman year to sophomore to junior, his 3-point percentage has gone up from 15 to 25 to 34%.
Good point.
And his junior year, he shot 32 for 93. So the trajectory is going up. That's all you can ask for. He's going to continue to improve. Where his role is this coming year is impossible to know at this time. Maybe in September, October, we'll know. But this BG is not done making moves. He's got $32 million of cap space to play around with, and he's going to make a lot more moves. So we have no idea what this team's going to look like at the start of training camp. But what I think he will provide us long term, he's going to be that guy that can facilitate, drive to the hoop, slash in, get free throw shooting opportunities. He's a good free throw shooter. He's just, great rebounder, defender. He's going to be a jack of all trades. So, again, very excited about this pick.
Yeah, he led Texas in points, rebounds, and assists. So I think it's exciting to see, like, if you stick that guy, and steals. If you put him next to Giddey, there's somebody else who fills up the stat sheet the same way. I think that could be a really interesting duo. Troy, I know that Cameron Carr was your guy, but talk to me on Dalen Swain.
Cameron Carr was definitely my guy at pick 15 for the Bulls. And I didn't have Dalen Swain in my top 5 on my own personal board. I had some other players there that even dropped even further, like Chris Nack Jr. went 27 to Boston. So, hey, one thing I'll always say is that I'm always happy to be wrong for the right reasons. And I went back and looked at more footage of Dalen Swain, just try and educate myself more about Dalen Swain. And the jump shot is, to me, it's still a bit questionable. There is that little bit of a hitch in his release, but hey, that's something that can be worked upon, and you can make it a bit more fluid. And if he can do that, that'll make him a much better outside shooter. But the fact that he can get to the basket basically at will, he's a big shooting guard. He's strong, physical, will take the contact. And the more I've educated myself on Dalen Swain, the more I actually really like this pick for the Bulls. I think, and as I've said it on our show before, I've said it on my own show, Bryson Graham is going to have my trust in everything he does until he gives me a body of work to say, no, I can't trust you anymore, and question what you're doing. So until then, Bryson has got my full trust in this pick in Dalen Swain, and I can't wait to see how he develops. Now, like some of you guys, I've got him penciled in at this stage as my starting shooting guard. So you're going to have Derek, as you mentioned, you're going to have a really big starting lineup. Basically, everyone's 6'8" and 6'8" to 6'11". So I think Dalen Swain, while at the combine he measured in at 6'6" and 3/4 or whatever barefoot. Put him in basketball shoes, he's going to be closer to 6'8". So everyone's the whole starting lineup is 6'8" to 6'11". So we're going to have a really tall starting lineup. So no more bubblegum Billy small ball. And I'm really looking forward to what Dalen Swain develops into.
Hell yeah. Neill, what are you thinking?
Yeah, well, I'm feeding off the energy that you've been giving on the sixth banner about Dalen Swain, because I know you did the deep dive on him, and you came to me and said, you really like this kid, and I knew you were high on him. So from watching what you put out there and a few bits and the highlights that I've been watching since, yeah, this kid could be a real sleeper hit for us. I mean, I genuinely think that even though people were expecting Cam Carr or they were expecting somebody else, the fact that Dalen Swain has surprised a few people in Bulls Nation as the pick, I trust Bryson Graham until he proves me wrong. I really do like this pick, and I think that he could be a real standout and a fan favorite.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just watching him, man. I really enjoyed what he brought. Especially the isolation game. I think he was like 82% of his attempts at the rim were unassisted, which put him in the 99th percentile. He knows how to get his own shot. There's some people that they're like, well, arguing that he won't be able to, body people like that in the league. I mean, I don't know. You've got to be able to at least do it at the college level, and then, it's not like he's just gonna. You could develop an isolation game, but I do think it's that's more difficult to develop, in my opinion, than it is to develop a jump shot. We've seen players even in the NBA level improve their jumper. Josh Giddey's a great example. So I think that he'll be able to iron it out, and he did shoot, I think, 40% on uncontested catch and shoot threes, and so I imagine he's going to get those from Giddey. So I know the volume wasn't super high or anything, but that's also because he was always playmaking for his team. So on the Bulls, he's not always going to have to do that. He's going to have some help in that regard. So it's exciting to see. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see what these guys could do. And yeah, man. So I mean, another thing that we did though was we got Nick Claxton. So I mean, the Bulls did absorb Nick Claxton in a deal where we sent, I think, Mo Guai ended up being who we got rid of because we couldn't just not send anything and just accept Nick Claxton per NBA rules, I suppose. So in a move where Julius Randle went to the Nets, and so the Timberwolves could, free up cap space to re-sign Io, and how they've brought in LaMelo Ball. That's an interesting move. But I don't know what, and I don't know what the Nets are doing, but I'm happy that we acquired Nick Claxton. I really needed to address the interior defense, and so we'll go around the horn again. Derek, how do you feel about the Nick Claxton, trade?
I loved it. I've wanted the Bulls to be able to find a way to trade for Nick Claxton for like years.
Yeah,
always
he has been a name people talked about a lot.
It's like always thought like rim runner, lob threat. That'd be perfect for Giddey to just throw it up there, let him go get it. I know people are like, well, he's declined a little bit. Like, well, he was playing for the Nets. And the Nets were not trying to win anything. And
for years.
I don't know, a lot of people were like, oh, you got to tank. That's how you. Well, the NBA eliminated that, so you're not going to try to tank anymore because you don't want to be in that bottom three. But just tanking, it kind of messes up a player's drive and motivation. So to go to a new team where, hey, don't worry about tanking, go out there, play your game. I think that's going to do a lot for Claxton's game. He's never played with a point guard like Giddey before. I think that's just going to elevate him back to that level to where Bulls Nation was clamoring for him for the past few years.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I think this is it's going to be a great case study on like how a player can bounce back after, having to deal with an organization that was trying to lose as much as possible for multiple years in a row. And his best seasons came with Tiago Splitter as a Nets assistant too.
Yep.
So, John, how you feeling about Claxton?
Oh, I'm very stoked about Claxton. You can ask Derek. We've exchanged this many times, especially if we were watching Bulls Nets. He's literally the guy we need. He's the anti-Vucevic. He's literally the opposite of what Vucevic was.
Yes,
and exactly what we were looking for. A rim protector, a guy that can play pick and roll, not pick and pop, but pick and roll, going to the hoop on alley-oops. It's going to be a beautiful thing to watch with Josh Giddey. He doesn't shoot threes. I don't care. We're going back. We're going out of that small ball, three-point shooting Golden State Warriors mode, and we're changing as the league. So I don't feel like that's as necessary as it's needed to be. I think he's the perfect fit for what we need, and I just cannot wait to see that front court of Modis, Wilson, and then oh man, I'm getting mixed up here.
You good?
Yeah,
Claxton.
Claxton. Thank you very much. So
Yes, sir.
definitely. definitely excited about it.
Hell yeah, I love it. Troy, how you feel about Nick Claxton? Also, I'd
Yeah,
like to. I'm gonna ask you too. Like, do you think there's been some talk out there that Jalen Smith is? Some people think that he's superior to Nick Claxton. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Man, look, is Jalen Smith a superior shooter than Nick Claxton? Absolutely. But that's probably about it at this stage. Like Nick Claxton, as both Derek and John have said, he's going to be a player that fits in quite well with Josh Giddey. The pick and rolls, the rim running lob threat. I mean, Josh Giddey getting out, running the fast break. You're going to have Mars Bazelis one side, Caleb Wilson the other. You're going to have Nick Claxton trailing down as well. Like it's going to be like Chicago, the Windy City is going to be the new Lob City. And like, fine. Can Nick Claxton shoot? Absolutely not. Guess what? I don't give a shit. I want my center down doing the. I want the center for this team doing basically exactly what Nick Claxton is going to do. He's going to get up there. He's going to rebound. He's going to block shots. He's going to get out and run in transition. And then I had another thought there, which I've completely blanked on. But like, I really like this addition of Nick Claxton as well. And yeah, it's going to be a fun team. Like we're going to be one of those favorite league pass teams this coming season. That's for sure. But yeah, Josh Giddey. Getting back to the whole Giddey Nick Claxton thing. Is like this is also the type of center that Josh Giddey actually needs himself on the defensive aspect because he's going to have a shot blocker, rim protector behind him. And the beauty of what Bryson Graham is also doing with the rest of this, quote unquote starting lineup as it is, like Dalen Swain, Martis Bazelis, Caleb Wilson, Nick Claxton, it's more of a defensive minded lineup. And this is going to be what this team is going to be about under Bryson and Tiago Splitter. This is going to be a defensive-minded team first. Yeah. The offense will take care of itself. We got Josh Giddey to turn into Magic Giddey. Shout-outs our boy Stacey. And, like, man, it's going to be fun. But, yeah, this is how you put a defensive lineup, quote-unquote, around Josh Giddey.
It's a good point. Neill, what are you thinking about the Claxton acquisition?
I think that this is a coach's decision. Nobody will convince me otherwise. Tiago Splitter went to Bryson Graham and said, forget Walker Kessler, he's going to cost you too much money. Forget Williams, yeah, we don't have time for that shit. We need to go out and get Nick Claxton. And Bryson Graham went and got it done. I genuinely think that this is a request on the part of Tiago Splitter because he's worked with him before and he knows what he can get out of him. Like you said, he was playing for the Nets, and a Nets team that was basically just a fucking black hole, right? No player is going to thrive in that environment. Nick Claxton will come to the Chicago Bulls, and he will thrive in Chicago. He will fit in with this system, this Tiago Splitter system, so well around a player like Josh Giddey that, like you say, we're going to see Lob City, we're going to see fast breaks. The other thing as well, with the way that he can protect the rim a little bit, which is something we haven't seen in Chicago since probably Joakim Noah. Now that we can protect the rim a little bit, it's forcing teams to shoot from a little bit further back, which means the rebounds are going to come out further from the rim because, trajectory, it's math, it's science. And that means that a player like Josh Giddey, who is a point guard who can rebound, is going to turn it into a very quick transition fast break. It's going to be exciting, fun, fast basketball with a defensive core, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, man. I really feel like overall, Nick Claxton is a great answer to what the Bulls needed. They needed to address the interior defense and to not give up anything. It felt like a valid attempt, and he's only on a 2-year contract. It's descending, $23 million this year and $21 million next year. It's not much at all, and it gives you time. And if he can rebound to his old form, you can bring him back. If not, you have a couple of years here before you have to find him a replacement. So
right.
I'm really excited. I mean, do you guys have, I don't know if you guys do, we didn't talk about this. Like, do you guys have any people on your wish list in free agency? Like, do you have anyone, Derek, that you're looking at out there?
No, man, I'm just sitting back and watching what Bryson Graham does. I know people were kind of upset that we didn't take anybody in the second round, and he went on the radio today and was like, we didn't have any targets that were left that fit what we wanted to do. And he talked about the importance of keeping that one roster spot open to where another trade could go down and you have that extra roster spot to use. Like maybe you're taking in 2 players, or you're salary dumping somebody, or the other team is. So I'm just gonna let BG cook, man. I'm just gonna let him cook.
That's totally fine. Yeah, I know I kind of just like threw this one out there, but I guess also, what, let me change that up. Like, how do you feel about like just the fact that Bryson Graham has been more outward and talking to Bulls Nation and like giving us his thought process? I mean, I would imagine that we're all going to have sort of the same thoughts here, but I think it's worth talking about that Bryson Graham is actually not afraid to go and talk to the media and give us the thoughts on his process. Like, yeah. John, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I love it. Interview came out, popped up on my algorithm on YouTube today. It was the Waddle and Sylvie show. I always watch it almost every day when I can. And this time, not only was it BG, but it was a collabo with Tiago Splitter. Like, we've never seen this before. We've never seen Bulls management collab on an interview with the coaching staff. Even back in the Dynasty days, Krause and Phil Jackson hated each other.
Right.
We never saw John Paxson or Gar Forman collab with Tom Thibodeau. AK and Billy Donovan. My God, that would be horrible to listen to if it did. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, just seeing those guys collab together and building the chemistry that they are. They're both roughly the same age, 39 and 41. I think BG's 39, Tiago's 41. But they're aligned. They're changing the culture, and everything that goes with that is aligned. They're working very well together. I love it. Again, couldn't be more excited about what we have coming up. As far as a free agent, Peyton Watson would be a guy, but like Derek just said, I just want to watch BG cook, man. I'm just excited about that. If we don't get him, that's fine. I think that would be a great addition, something we would need, a shooting guard who's very multidimensional, 3-point shooter as well, defensive player. But if we probably won't get him, but that would be a guy I'd love to get.
Absolutely. I think I like this comment. I just wanted to talk about, like, just mention it real quick. The fact that he says that Swain, like, kind of reminds him of Denny Avdija. Like, I think that's kind of a good point. Like, like, that's the kind of the role that Swain played at Texas, was kind of just like, manning the offense, and was kind of the do-it-all guy. That's what Denny did for the Blazers last year. But Troy, how do you feel about the openness from this Bulls regime so far?
Man, is this a breath of fresh air? Like, dude. That's like when I saw, woke up this morning, because obviously I'm recording it nice and early in the morning, my time. Damn time zones, man. Trying to catch up on everything before we jumped on here, and then I see Bryson Graham's gone on. I'm not familiar with the Chicago radio stations and all that, but to see him doing that interview, and it's like, wow, like, we actually have a front office person who's willing to go into the media and speak about the thought process behind it. Now, there was a lot of Bulls fans losing their absolute friggin' minds when they sold the 2 second-round picks. And I can understand there is a bit of PTSD behind it, because, cash considerations has been a thing with Chicago Bulls. But yeah. My immediate thought was, what if there was no one left on the board that they genuinely liked? I mean, obviously, we can bring up Henry Vassar, and that would have been a good selection as well, but maybe he wasn't on their board. And my personal favorite, that the pick 38, was Trevon Brazile, and he went to Denver at 35. So maybe, potentially that was the last guy on their board that they liked at 38, and gone, you know what? Let's, as he explained it, let's see what we can do to put these picks into the future, which is what he did. And hey, brought in a little bit of extra cash with it. So no, I love seeing Bryson Graham getting out in the media and actually explaining things, because AK wouldn't know how to do that.
That's true. I mean, yeah. Can you try to imagine like an AK and Billy conference call? It's like that would have been brutal. But I guess
I'm
I
getting
see why they
thinking about it. Thanks, Phil.
I mean, I guess I see why they didn't do it. But Neill, what are your thoughts on the new regime?
I love what we're seeing. Yeah, initially when I was watching the second round, I was a little bit like, well, are we not just going to do anything? But the more I thought about it, I was like, well, you don't just take a player for the sake of taking a player. And if there's nobody there that you don't like, maybe they didn't want to like chunk up the whole roster with rookies. Like, this is a starting team, and you don't want to bring in that level of minimal experience where it almost outweighs the experienced players, because you've got so many rookies. I mean, Noah Asenge is essentially a rookie too, right? So, I mean,
yeah,
you don't want to dilute the team to that extent. And I can see why that makes sense then, to try and pick up players in free agency who have a little bit of NBA experience already. It does make sense what they've done. And like, I mean, I actually wouldn't mind if they decided now to re-sign Colin Sexton if he wants to stay, and see how that works out. Because I think the way Caleb is talking, and we know the way Colin Sexton plays with a bit of dog in him as well. I'd like to see the two of them working together. I think that could be quite an interesting package too.
We're gonna end up in fights.
He does fit the SLAP acronym as well.
Just needs to cut off that rat's tail.
That's what I was waiting
please.
for.
Don't let me in Chicago and at a Bulls game while Colin Sexton is on the Bulls. If Colin Sexton remains on the Bulls roster, because I will follow him with a pair of scissors and snip that thing off.
Oh yeah, it's got to go. It's got to go.
Oh.
I don't imagine that going extremely well for you, but I mean, you do.
No. Not at all. I'll be stopped before I even get inside the UC.
Yeah, but man, I guess we can talk about the second round too. Like, did you? I mean, you can give me your honest thoughts on it, because I think this is actually, we might get differing opinions here. Like, how do you feel? How did you feel about the way that they approached the second round, Derek?
I had no problem with it. If you see, like, through the whole second round, picks were getting swapped left and right for cash. So it wasn't the same guard packs, cash considerations. We're just going to get the money. We don't care about building this team. They made a trade. They got Cam Jones, who his rookie season was pretty bad, but his year before that at college, it showed some potential, and maybe he just wasn't a fit for the Pacers and what they were doing. I mean, they were tanking as well because of all their injuries. So you never know if he can come in and be able to be a rotational player here with the pieces that are already on the team. So I like that they were able to get a player as well as cash, and then they got the future swaps. So it wasn't just, hey, just give us cash, you don't care about these players. It showed a different mentality behind trading for some cash, which maybe is used to help build out the rest of the coaching staff or the rest of BG's staff in the front office. And then for him, like guys said, for him to go on the radio and explain, which is a fresh breath of air from the previous regimes, to actually say, no, we know what you guys are thinking. It's not that. This is why we did it. Trust us. We have a plan in motion. And as you guys said, you don't just select a player just to select a player. So I was perfectly fine with it.
Yeah. John, did you have any feelings on all of that?
I did, but let me answer this question real quick. Mr. Shea Ogunabi, man, it's been a long time.
Shea,
We miss you in the group. We need you back, baby. We still bring you up, man. Shay for GM. We miss you, man. Come on back. Come on back, Shay. I follow your stuff. You're a prime contributor on Chicago Bulls Central. So, man, you've gone from Facebook, social media to YouTube, man. You really stepped it up. Anyway, what was the question? I saw Shay and I got really excited.
You're all good, bro. Just the how we approach the second round.
Well, I'll be honest. Initially, I was pretty upset. PTSD. A Bulls fan suffering through PTSD and hearing cash considerations. I got a little upset. Like, boy, Reinsdorf back at it again. Cashing in instead of, but we got Toby Awaka. He was projected to go, low 50s. If he ends up working out, and he's probably going to be a G leaguer. But if he makes our team, brings elite rebounding, interior toughness, something we need. You can't have too much of that, right? And then Jalen Sellers, you got him as another option. He's, very quick. Kind of reminds me of Rob Dillingham, honestly. And then I felt a whole lot better after listening to what BG had to say. So bottom line, there was really nobody left on the board that we felt worth picking up at that time, at that juncture in the draft. And, I think, he obviously continued to do his homework, worked all through the night, and they've made some other moves. So as for who we got with the 38th pick swap, he was a 38th pick last year.
Yep.
Back to what we were saying about Nick Claxton, he also played for a tanking team. They were trying to lose games just as much as the Nets were. He had a very rough rookie year. I think he averaged 4 points a game, 40% field goals, so low numbers. But that's a guy too that we could maybe integrate into our group at some point. Initially, G League, and then who knows after. So if I were to grade it, I'd give the draft overall an A. I think BG did his thing for sure, and on top of that, I loved the transparency that he had afterwards. So that's what I got.
I love it. Well, actually, yeah, and I'll get back to Derek on the grade because I like that. But Troy, if you want to talk to me about the second round, and then at the end, I would love it if you did give a grade. I know we've been here for almost an hour, so we'll get through the group on their thoughts on the second round, and then we'll do grades. And if anyone's got questions, we can answer those. Otherwise, that will wrap it up. But Troy, talk to me, man.
Yeah, with what they did in the second round, like obviously when it first came out that the 56th pick was sent to the Lakers for cash considerations, I'm like, oh well, I haven't done any scouting on prospects at 56, so I don't really give two rats ass. And missing out on I wanted Trevon Brazil. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted him, but Denver took him, and then Henry Vassar was my second favorite player in that pick. Now call it me being a North Carolina homer, cool. It is what it is, but we pass it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, moving on, like not doing anything in the second round, so you can do some stuff in the future with those, and then you've still got $32 million in cap space to play with this offseason. What we did in the second round, I don't care. So the draft overall, it's an A+. You walked away with your franchise altering future superstar. Plus, you got another guy who could, potentially become a star player as himself. Pair them up with Marcus Buzelis and Josh Giddey. The foundation has been set. The steel frame is up. I don't know if Derek and John, if you guys have ever seen any references I've made to building a house in comparison to like building a team. You got Caleb Wilson now. There's your concrete slab. You got Mars Buzelis and Josh Giddey. There's your steel frame. Now it's time to add the plasterboard and the tiles and the plumbing. We're rocking and rolling.
Love it.
Hell yeah. Neill?
Yeah, just on the Henry Vassar thing, I don't think anybody else liked him very much because he just kept sliding and sliding and sliding. There must have been something about him.
No, did you see what it came out? I think it came out as to why he was sliding. It wasn't because nobody liked him, because nobody wanted. He didn't want to sign a 2-way deal with anyone. He wanted to actually. He wanted to stand an NBA contract, which is why he's the Lakers wanted him. That's why they were trying to trade up, but apparently they didn't want to go. Well, he didn't want to go to the Lakers, so that's how he ultimately ended up falling to 52 and 52, Atlanta.
Yeah. My God, I don't understand that, man. You're trying to get in the NBA and you've got demands. You're in the second round, brother. Like
that's not going to wash. Like, that's just, you're lucky you got picked at all talking that way, to be honest.
Yeah, that's crazy. It reminds me of the NFL with Shedeur Sanders a little bit. Like he rubbed people the wrong way. I know it doesn't do anything for you guys. You guys aren't NFL guys, but he slid a long way because I guess he pissed people off with the way he was presenting himself. So, I mean, you're not in control of these situations, man. You got to kind of feel a little bit more blessed to be there. But, okay, Pads thinks that that's the perfect fit. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll work out well for him. But did you have anything else, Neill? I know that,
Yeah, well, I already kind of spoke on the second round, but I'll give a grade. If I was to grade the first round, I'd give it an A+. If I was to grade the second round, I'd give it a C, just because they didn't make any mistakes, but they didn't do anything too exciting either. So overall, I give it a solid A- for now.
Okay. Derek, I'll pass it back to you for a grade.
Yeah, I'll go with overall A.
Okay. Hell yeah. You know what? I'm not going to rain on this parade. I like it too, man. I'm going to give it an A. I don't know. So going into the second round, it's not like I had people that were super, like I wasn't like raving about. There were a couple guys I thought I liked. They did go before 38, like Trevon Brazile. If Isaiah Evans had somehow lasted to 38, I would have like loved to pick him up, but they didn't. They got picked. And I think someone had the numbers. It was like 17 of the 30 picks got traded. So it's like
that's crazy.
There's like one pick, I think pick 41, what it was, that they got traded like overall, like before someone selected it. It was like a number of like 6 times it got traded.
Yeah.
And ended up back with a team that had traded it before. Like OKC had traded it before. They ended up with it still. Like
it's like pinball.
Crazy. Yeah. I mean, that shows you what people think of the second round. I know that there's the Jalen Brunsons and the Nikola Jokic's of the world that, everyone feels like we'll just take a guy. But it's just really not that simple. You've got roster spots, and the Bulls clearly felt like there was going to be players undrafted that they could take a look at. I don't know how that changes with the contracts. Maybe that matters. I know I'm not super in tune to how it changes between an undrafted free agent and the second rounder. I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah, I don't know. I wish I will say this. I wish that they would tell us how much cash it was, because if it's like, like if it's millions, then I would feel so much differently about it. I'd be like, oh, that's a difference maker. But if it's like, 10 grand, it's like, well, who gives a shit? But this is, how I feel about it. But we'll before we sign off, I don't think we have any questions, but let's just do, lasting like final thoughts. So, I mean, Derek, what are your final thoughts on the draft and everything else?
Yeah, like Troy said, get them shades. The Bulls' future is bright. I'm definitely looking forward to Caleb and Swain, how they fit in, how our new identity is going to be formed with Tiago Splitter, the rest of the moves that BG could make still. I've seen somebody saying the Bulls should take on a bad contract, and we definitely could if it's going to give us some assets in the future. That might be the move.
Yeah.
Or, just trying to get rid of Patrick Williams. I mean,
if you can.
If you can. But hey, I'm excited. I feel like the Bulls' trajectory is finally hitting back up, hopefully towards some more championships in the future.
I hope so, man. John, how you feeling?
Oh, beyond excited, hype. The draft picks that we've got, the $32 million in cap space, the flexibility that we have, and just watching BG cook between now and, when the time's over with free agency and all. And for the first time in years, I'm actually really excited about watching Summer League. You know, seeing what Caleb Wilson, how they play with, Swain, and then even seeing Noah Essengay, he'll more than likely be playing. And then some of these other pickups that we've had today and last night. So sky's the limit. I'm not going to go there and say we're making the playoffs already, but like Derek said, the trajectory is high. It's going up, and that's all you can ask for. When you start from as low as we are right now, or not right now, but where we were with AK, we're going up step by step. So gotta love it. And see red till the deathbed.
Hell yeah, love it, Troy.
Yeah, it can't wait to watch BG cook. And I think we're going to start seeing the way the game is played start to change. Like it's, we saw the Knicks and the Spurs, like, yes, a lot of threes, but what was most of their game? Defense. Like at the end of the day, defense wins championships. I don't care what the offense is doing. Defense wins championships. It's been that way from the start. It'll be that way until the earth explodes. And we're starting to form a defensive identity first. And yeah, man, watch BG cook.
Yes.
Neill?
Yeah, look, much as yourselves, this is an exciting time to be a Bulls fan, finally. We were scraping our asses on the ground for long enough. It's time to lift those cheeks back up and climb up. Back up that ladder, back where we belong. Let's see things start to progress. It's not going to happen overnight. People that are expecting us to be back in contention this season, pump the brakes a little bit. It's not going to happen that quick, but it is going to happen. We are on the right path now. It's time to be excited. It's time to get back on board the Bulls train and do this thing together. See you, Red.
I love it. And, to join my man Derek, and because what I think about Caleb Wilson, I'll put on these star shades because this man, Caleb Wilson's going to be a star. He's going to be a star. I believe in it. I think this is going to be a turning point for our franchise. I think that it's going to be a lot of fun to watch Bulls basketball. And like you said, it's going to take time. I preach patience. I'm one of those guys that I believe in giving people full chance before I judge. I know that there's a lot of Bulls fans that aren't willing to do that. They want it. They want it now. And I get it. It's been tough, man. But Rome was not built overnight. You've got to give it time. You just have to. If you don't do that, I guess nobody's making you be a Bulls fan, my friends. But you don't want to be a bandwagon hopper. You got to go through the shitty times so that you can really enjoy the good times.
That's right.
Real quick, I know Trev said, how many second rounders could we use to get rid of Patrick Williams? Just a quick number. I'll say it'll take 3. How many do you think, Derek?
I'm gonna say 6. 6 championships. I'm gonna say 6 picks to get him out of here.
Plus cash considerations.
Yeah, that you might not be wrong, man. John?
And Derek, man, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going with 6 too. So I'm going to go with 6 also.
I love it. Troy?
2 unprotected first-round picks. And
oh, my God. It's not worth it.
Patrick Williams is he is ass. I've said this a number of times. He's not ass. He is ass. Ass. No one's going to want him.
If that's what it takes, I would rather just forget he exists. Leave him on the end of the bench.
Just let him sit on the end of the bench and be a towel boy.
Yes. Yeah. That's where I was going to go with it.
Do you have a number, though, Neill?
No, I don't have a number. I've given enough blood, sweat, and tears to waiting for Patrick Williams to wake up. As far as I'm concerned, I do not want to give any more picks or anything that is an asset to this team up for Patrick Williams. Sit his ass down and slide it all the way to the other end of the bench and leave him there catching dust. He does not belong on the floor, but at the same time, I ain't paying him diddly squat or giving up diddly squat to get rid of him. He can just sit there now.
That's fair. I will say, Tiago. What were you say, Derek?
He used to be a flower boy for his mom's shop in North Carolina. You can put him out in the atrium selling Derrick Rose's roses.
There you go. There you go. At least it's something positive.
There you go. Yeah, I'll say this, Thiago Splitter, dude, if you want to be a fan favorite, just sit that man on the bench. If you start giving that man playing time, people are going to question you off the get-go.
All right, just quickly on when it comes to Thiago and Patrick Williams, if Thiago can get some form of life out of Patrick Williams, build that man a statue.
Yeah, right. That's facts. But all right, everybody. Well, before we sign off, make sure that you go over to Nothin But Bull, the YouTube channel. There is at Nothin But Bull on both YouTube and X, I believe. I think I know it is on YouTube. Is that on X as well?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Make sure you guys go follow them, subscribe. They do great stuff over there. You guys film every Thursday?
Yeah, Thursdays, 5 p.m. Central. That's going to be our slot. Probably won't be every Thursday until the season actually starts.
Okay. Love it. But yeah, everyone go check them out. And also, if you guys are anyone on X, but while checking them out, please also come over to Bulls Without Borders and subscribe. We need your help. We are close to monetization, but we need you guys to subscribe. We need to get to 1,000. So please come help us out. But that'll do it for this week's crossover episode between Bulls Without Borders and Nothin But Bull. It's been a pleasure, my friends. I enjoyed this episode a lot, and the future is bright for the Chicago Bulls. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, everybody. Take it easy.
See red.